Guys, all right. And good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. It is time for our KRIM Community Spotlight, and I do want to thank Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. And today, it is I always have to look, the third Wednesday of the month, and we always have Banner Payson Medical Center in the studio to talk about what they have going on at the hospital. And today, we have in the CEO, Hoyt Scablin. Good morning, Hoyt. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am enjoying the mask-free public direction of the CDC. The hospitals are still required to wear masks in healthcare settings, but not today in a public setting, so thank you.
I know, it's been a while. It was the first time, I think, I came in and I saw smiles. I saw all your smiles. Normally they're smiles, but they're behind masks, so they're not visible. So it was great to see. Joining him this morning is Dr. Daniel Porter, DO, and Kim Reger, registered nurse, RN. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And good morning. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you so much for coming in. And you're going to share with us this morning a little bit about all of the exciting news, everything that's happening in the emergency department. So, boy, some big things coming down the pipeline, aren't there?
Yeah, there really are. You know, with the work of Hoyt and Kim,
Mm-hmm.
we've come up with some great new things in the ER.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we're most excited about is an ER expansion that we're working on.
That is
pretty exciting.
That is exciting, and I have to interrupt you because the news that you shared with me before the program, people need to hear this, how you recently set a record, and the number of people you had in, I don't want to say processed, I guess that's the clinical term, but that you saw, that you treated, that you took care of in the emergency department. And that was what day? On Tuesday?
Yeah, this was last Tuesday. This was the busiest day that I've seen in the last 2 years that I've been here. 66 patients in 24 hours. We had a lot of people through our doors, you know, and it puts some stress on our nursing staff and trying to help take care of everybody, but we have a great team and everybody did a great job.
So that is a higher number than you saw during really the whole time of COVID as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So probably a wide variety of different cases.
Exactly.
Or yeah, and what did, like that day, just some examples of like different things?
Anything from an earache in a small child to a heart attack or a stroke, everything, trauma, you name it. It was probably there that day.
Wow, so 66. So I think with people moving to the community, more people moving in, more people traveling through, you're just going to see, we're seeing more at stores, on the road, everywhere, so it's just natural to expect also in the hospital as well.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with summertime coming up. You know, we get a big influx of patients into the ER during the summer. Everybody's here enjoying the beautiful weather and the pines. With that comes some trauma. You know, you have these off-road vehicles that people enjoy, which sometimes can cause some accidents. You have a lot of what do we call them up here? City folk come up to the mountain.
Yeah.
That would be affectionately known as a flatlander.
I was just going to say flatlander, isn't it?
Affectionately, when we use it in an affectionate way, okay. Sometimes
It means we like the economy benefits that come with the flatlander.
Yes. There's other ways that you see it used, and it's no.
Yeah. We love our forests, and we like them to be left alone.
Yeah. So I'd love to hear a little bit about both of you, and just kind of your background and how you came to Payson. Starting with you, Dr. Porter.
Yeah, sure. I'm actually a fourth generation Arizonan, so my family has been here for a long time. My great grandfather actually drove a road grader for the Forest Service up in Heber, and then he took his family to the Gila Valley, and then my grandpa moved up to Mesa, and that's where I was born and raised. I was fortunate enough to do all of my schooling here in Arizona, which is pretty rare. A lot of people move away for med school and residency. but I was able to do everything here in Arizona. Most recently, I completed my residency in Kingman, Arizona.
Oh,
which
Kingman, I'm sorry. so that's why you're smiling so big, is because you're not in Kingman anymore, you're in Payson. Okay.
You know, I love the hospital and the training that we got there. It was really, really awesome. It was a non-competitive residency, which means that there's no surgery residency, there's no anesthesia residency. So in the hospital, as an emergency resident, we got to do all kinds of procedures, which was great for training. Now, Kingman is rural.
Yes, yeah, it is.
So we got to see a lot of unique cases, great learning environment, but ultimately my wife and I decided we wanted to be closer to home, but we still love that rural feel. You know, it's different here in places like Payson. You get to run into people that say, oh, hey, you treated my grandpa and this is how he's doing.
Yes.
Or, hey, you saw my kid the other day and, you know, he's back in school and everything's great with him. I love that part of it. I have also worked at some bigger facilities down in the valley. You just don't get that same family feel that you get here. You know all the nurses personally. And you really develop this family atmosphere in the ER. So I love what I do.
I have to comment on family because I received a comment last night. There was a softball game and we live streamed the softball games and I announced those. And our team, the Longhorns, was playing, they were playing Camp Verde. And one of the coaches from Camp Verde, or their head coach, he said, oh, and you have to put down my assistant coaches because it's my daughter, and then my granddaughter's playing on the team. And his daughter said, oh, yeah, and looking in the dugout, the Payson dugout, and there were little kids running around, some of the coaches' kids. And she said, this is what I love about coming to Payson. There's always children in the dugout. There's children helping out. My kids, I bring them. They go and find those kids. They play, you know, running around in the ditch and other things. And she said, yeah, it's just such a family-friendly community.
You gotta love rural America.
Yeah, you really do. And it's great. And family, speaking of family, Kim, that's something that I'm sure you're excited about, and being back in Payson.
Exactly. That was one of the reasons I came back, is we moved down here from Minnesota, North Dakota area back in 2007 and worked at the hospital before it was Banner. Same little office that I got now. It was my office then. And so our kids followed us down here. They ended up having families, and we had moved away to see what else was out there in the south where we wanted to go. I tried a few other places, and then this job just fell in my lap one day. I was reading an article. It was about Banner, and I thought, oh, that's cool. I'm going to check. I know there's Banner in Payson. It was the only ED director job in the Banner system, and it was in my chosen hometown. And so called up, and 3 days later I had the job offer, and moved 2 weeks later, and here we are. Loving my grandkids and my kids.
Yeah, and forgot to mention also, if you're listening on the radio, you can watch the live stream of this program on the KRIM FM Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and you would have seen Hoyt, his reaction to you saying that. It sounds like, Hoyt, that was an answer to prayer.
It was an answer to prayer, but both of these individuals and the other leaders in the emergency department, we've been, I'll use the word blessed, to have good physicians, good providers. We have, I think Dr. Porter's team's amazing, and has been amazing for the last several years, and then Kim and the nursing team, the heroism demonstrated through the last 2 years, unbelievable. The caring, just, you know, there are times when we disappoint, and some of those times we don't recognize that we disappointed. So we're anxious to resolve any concerns people have, and we try to do that real time while they're a patient. Nurses are doing a great job. I've watched these two in action, and the team. I would be very comfortable being a patient in our emergency department today under their leadership.
So I need to ask Kim, you have been a emergency department or an ER nurse 36 years out of your 38-year nursing career. So what is it that has kept you in the emergency room?
It's just such an honor and a privilege to be able to help people at the worst moment of their life. Nobody plans to go to the ER. And so to be that one person that makes a difference means a lot to me, and it always keeps me coming back. You learn something new every day. You see something new every day. So you never get stagnant. It's not like you get bored going to work. You're excited to wake up and go to your job the next day.
Yes.
And the teamwork in the ER is amazing. And so we all work together, and so it's like your second family. And so that's always a really neat thing to have in your job. And it doesn't make it a job then, it makes it something fun to do. And I love critical thinking. I love helping other nurses become better at critical thinking, and being the ones that are compassionate and have that tender touch. Because sometimes all you have to do is hold somebody's hand and it makes such a difference. And that's what we do.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot, and I think because of the nature of the work and the environment you're in, it reminds me a lot of a military family.
Kind of, yeah.
And just the things that you deal with, just with your profession, with your job, it brings you closer to your coworkers, the people that you're with every day, and experiencing those things with. So you do form a camaraderie and a bond that you don't want to lose. It's kind of strange when you separate or you retire from the military. You hear people, and you experience that. It's like, I really miss that. I miss that bond, even though there's all the craziness and it's so hectic. But you miss that bond.
I think that's a great description, Chris. And what I've observed, I'm the warm blanket hander outer.
So you do a great job.
He is great at it.
Great job.
I can vacuum a rug and a those are my two skills that I'm very uniquely qualified for. But I would say, as I've watched, the emergency department is one of the more complicated parts of healthcare. Unanticipated visits, all parts of society, all ages, all generations, all languages, and every patient that enters needs a medical evaluation that could be a life-threatening. You don't know how seriously ill they are. Now, some cases you do. They're coming in by ambulance and you've gotten a radio in and you know what's going on. But and to be able to be clinically focused and critically thinking while at the same time reassuring you, keeping you updated, when we might have our hands full with a heart attack victim who is the priority based on everyone that's in the ED, the other person's like, I haven't had an update in 15 minutes. And so our challenge is, how can we keep everybody updated despite that we're saving someone else's life? And the complexity of what these two professionals do is fascinating and humbling. And one other thing about what you said about the military family, there are tragic things that happen in our community, and lives that will be lost even before arrival in the ED. And these are still human beings, and they're affected by those tragedies, loss of children, or just, I won't go into detail, but so we try to provide support. These leaders here try to provide support. We'll have discussions with the team, with kind of almost a therapy session to help. This is a very difficult profession. Now, the healthcare has all of its strengths in all of the different professions, but there's some uniqueness in the emergency department.
Oh, there definitely is. And you started to mention, Dr. Porter, the upcoming expansion. And can you elaborate maybe on that expansion and some of the other changes that we'll be seeing in the emergency department?
Yeah, of course. We have a wonderful team, and I feel like our capabilities are kind of limited by our
Physical space.
our physical spaces. Yes, by our walls.
By our walls.
We have such a great community to care for and a team to care for them that upcoming in the next couple of years, we'll be expanding our whole hospital and the emergency department. And what that does is it just offers us more space to take care of patients. It's a more comfortable environment for the patients, and it really allows us to work to our full capacity. So some really exciting things. Hoy can probably talk a little bit more about the expansion project as a whole. But Kim and I have been involved in helping to redesign the emergency department. We've got some interesting things coming with flight. Changing helipad locations and trying to design the whole hospital environment to benefit everybody.
Wow, that is exciting. And did you want to mention some of with the ED department, I guess some of the...
I would let Kim speak specifically to
All
the
right.
ED. I can speak to the broad project
Mhm.
entirely,
Sure.
but
Well, instead of having all these hall beds that we currently have,
Yes.
we've expanded some extra rooms,
Mm-hmm.
putting in like the bariatric size room, like an oversized space.
Mm-hmm.
So we could probably care for them with more equipment that is appropriate for that size, to take care of our nurses as well as the patient's comfort. Looking at making a safe room in case we have a behavioral health patient that needs a safe
Okay.
location. And then also isolation rooms, which we currently
Okay.
don't have. So those are the three biggest changes, but then it's just the whole structure of it and how it flows.
Mm-hmm.
Taking out like the offices where they currently are and expanding that into patient care areas, getting security in our area,
Mm-hmm.
a better view of the lobby where the triage nurse would be able to see the whole lobby,
Mm-hmm.
which has always been one of the things that we've asked for, in nursing in general. You wanna
Yes.
see your people,
Mm-hmm.
so you can take care of them properly. And then just upgrading the look and the feel. I mean, the people inside are still gonna be the same,
Mm-hmm.
but our environment doesn't always reflect our quality, and is that?
that's my biggest.
Speaking it-
I'm excited to say that when this project concludes, the facility will now be reflecting the quality of the staff and the care we receive. Today, it's aged facility
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
built with small constraints. We'll have curtains in the exam rooms, but there will be a glass door
Glass door.
for private, for sound privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So just things that have moved, advanced over the last decades, we're behind on is some of those simple things. But it's $150,000 to put the head wall in, and you can't hang a glass door that you can swing quickly to move a gurney out. Everything's a little more complicated in a hospital and about 5 times more expensive
At
than
least.
what you would do if it was at your house, you know.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
I think the other thing that's as simple as this, today we have waxable VCT tile floor.
Yeah.
When do you wax that floor? When do you strip and wax and buff that floor when you're in a 24/7?
Yeah.
How do you shut down part of the ED? And that's one of our challenges, so the
Yeah.
ED doesn't shine all the time. In
Yeah.
the new ED, we will have non-waxable floors that can be swept and mopped. I cannot wait for that appearance
Yeah.
to improve.
I was going to say you don't wax them on Tuesdays.
No.
Yeah,
Not
you
on
do.
Tuesdays.
We're not
on
waxing on Tuesdays.
No, not on Tuesday. Yeah, and it's little things like that. That I guess unless you're in that environment, unless you're working there, you wouldn't really think of.
Yeah.
Or you just think, oh, okay, well, there should be some time to do this or do that. Also, I love, regardless of what the industry is or the job is, but looking at improving efficiency and just processes that can be put in place, or, how a room or an office is set up, or a building, a department, whatever it is, just to increase efficiency. And it sounds like that's something that's going to it will happen,
Right.
done with all of these improvements.
And that's how it's designed. We've bathrooms, extra bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Such a simple little thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing the staff requested. Can we just have another bathroom?
Because there's just one currently,
There's just
right?
one currently, and
So-
if that's getting cleaned, there's no place to go. You have to go back to the lobby.
Cleaned, occupied,
All those things.
all
yeah.
those things. So then that takes away. So now the time it takes to go to the lobby or wherever
Right.
to go, wow.
And we're so grateful for the amazing emergency response teams in RIM country,
Mm-hmm.
the ambulance service, the life flights, and we want to make sure that we have a space for them to park and to come in and at the end of their run and to do some charting and feel welcome. And we're just kind of space constrained, and that makes it hard to offer concierge to everyone. And it's going to be a neat deal. I'm excited about it. It's part of, just quickly in terms of Dr. Porter's reference, the total project is hovering around a $50 million investment.
Wow.
When the Mogollon Health Alliance merged with Banner and the hospital became owned by Banner, part of that agreement, which was the outstanding thought process, in my opinion, of the Mogollon Health Alliance, was and now we have the MHA Foundation, but they're different organizations, but the same composition of people generally, the same mission, was that Banner would, within a number of years, make an investment in the campus. And Banner has invested $15 million in different changes, like in the imaging department. That's one of Banner's standards, is we make sure the tools that become the eyes for the physicians are outstanding. So we've made $15 million investment, but now we're looking at a $50 million investment beyond that to update the campus, expand the ED, and demolish the old original hospital. After which I hope to do is to do an honorary tours, and people come through, and before that's demolished, to honor the history of the Junior Women's League that raised the money to build that first clinic, to deliver babies in Payson. That was the original intent. Then it became a hospital. The old OR now is our facilities maintenance room, and so we'll clear all that out. We'll put some easels up that show you what this was, where the ED was. And then we'll honor those that have served this community on the board and various boards, physicians, and nurses and staff. And then we'll demolish that building because it's time. I mean, when I first came to Payson several years ago, that first impressions on that Main Street, coming in and seeing the dock of the hospital and the pipes on the roof and that old facility, if I were a guest, I would be worried. Is the care in this place good? You know what I mean? They don't know that it's administrative offices only in that old facility. So we need to make sure the campus reflects the quality and is efficient, and it lasts for the next 50 years in a caliber way. And there'll be updates along the way in decades ahead. But it's an exciting time to do that, and it's a little more expensive, or a lot more expensive than it would have been 5 years ago because of all of the economy issues. But
all right, and just want to comment. We have people watching on our Facebook Live. Randy Roberson, our KRIM news director, watching, and he says progress sounds good.
Thank you, Randy.
It really does. And then Ashley Morris, Cookie Leslie tells the kids Grandma Nana is on KRIM.
I'm Grandma Nana.
You're Grandma Nana?
I'm Grandma Nana.
Oh my, that wasn't in the write-up here.
I didn't know they listened.
Yes, and I see hearts going up now too. So hearts for Grandma Nana. That is great. No, you never know what.
You don't.
You know,
Now it made me cry.
I know. I know. It's great. I'm in the facilities, updating the facilities, upgrading the facilities, doing those things. They're a big benefit to the staff, to all the doctors, nurses, everyone working there. But ultimately, it benefits the community. Every single member in the community, especially the emergency room, because you just never know. Like I think you said earlier, you never know. It's not expected, but you never know when you might visit the ER.
Big shout out, Chris, to all of the team in the emergency department. There's many departments that play a role, all who stayed with us through the pandemic and sacrificed so much. I think there are amazing things ahead. It will take time, but I think we're going to see the best care ever provided in every way, including the experience over the next several years, as we get the facility to match the staff and we're able to build that staff completely. Very proud of this group.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's a wonderful, wonderful hospital. I have to, say thank you. My son Joshua and his wife Shayna. Recently it was, and now time has just been kind of crazy. But last Thursday, it would have been on the 3rd, March 3rd, they had their baby, little Hudson was born 9/11. Thursday night, wasn't breathing and had complications. So the staff there, I cannot thank the nursing staff, the doctors, everyone that was able to revive him, and he was flown down to Banner Payson Medical, still in the NICU down there, but being taken care of, Banner Desert, and you just can't thank the nurses and the staff. And going in, it's great, neat to recognize, and we had them on, Ty Jones, and also the director, and I forget her name, of the Allied Health Program at the EAC Payson campus. But they came on, and all of the nurses that have gone through that program, and we saw a lot of them over the years in town, and sure enough, they're in that department, the OB department, other departments when you go in, ER, and so it it is great to be in a community like this where you see that and you just have that connection with the healthcare professionals, first responders, and other people in the community. It's just real
We
special.
appreciate the support. There's been a lot of recent support from many in the community, a group formed, and just a thanks to all who have shown their support of the team. And we wish your grandson the very best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you trusting us with your care.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you again for coming on this morning. Thank you for sharing 30 minutes, just like that.
Just like that.
I know. And you know, there's always so much to talk about, but it's so exciting, the upgrade, and look forward to that expansion and seeing all the changes that will be coming with Banner Payson Medical Center. So thank you everyone for listening this morning, for tuning in, and a big thank you again to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring our Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music with the Kinks, Paul McCartney and Wings, The Who, and Smashing Pumpkins. But first, an update from the National Weather Service.
Weather forecast for Payson and surrounding areas.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.